I wanted to go get a coffee. Good morning, everybody.
Go get it. Good morning. Do you know what Wendy forgot? Wendy forgot to get herself
I forgot to get
a
a
nice
coffee.
cup of tea
I'll be right back.
before she begins. Beautiful. I hope everyone's having an incredible week. I know I've been a lot off center this week, as I've been traveling, and even tomorrow morning, I may or may not be able to get in on the live as well. And I know this is bowel movements is one of my most favorite topics in the entire world, and I know that this is a conversation that we have, or that I have, with thermography clients when looking at that as well. So if I note an imbalance in the gut, even though our intake forms don't mention that, I'm always, okay, so how are your bowel movements? What's going on? And this is often a conversation with loose stool, because loose stools are a conversation for the day, is that that loose stool is often that IBS and that imbalance, and I don't know what happened, and or letting go of things, or we've had too much stress. These episodes can be part of a trip to Mexico, right? This, oh yeah, that trip to Mexico is still lingering in my bowels. But it's so touchy for people who have gluten sensitivities or dairy issues or IBS or Crohn's or colitis. It is that I have no idea. And it's that constant loose stool aspect. And it is many people are plagued with loose stool. And it can be part of a bigger issue. It can just be part of that. They may be so many aspects of things, right? And it's sort of like, okay, what are the causes? What are the treatments? What are the symptoms, right? So, I mean, the loose stools are, you want to journal about them, honestly, to help you and your practitioners or your nutritionists like us sort of have a better understanding of where the trigger of the loose stool sort of may be coming from, especially if you're eating so well and you're trying to do the right thing and there's still nothing to avail. So again, they can be a bit softer than normal. They can be watery. They can be mushy, shapeless, like horrific sometimes. Some of them may have odor. Some may not have odor. So there's a lot of questions of like, okay, why? Why, for the love of Pete, why? But there's so many different things. And I was just saying, Wendy, where did you go? Just kind of saying is that people can eat so well and still have this issue. And it's sort of that ongoing sort of yo-yo aspect to that, this increasing frustration, especially with IBS or with sensitivities like gluten or dairy. Can be part of it. And these types of things, even egg can be a huge issue because they're always hidden in so many things. But again, journaling, I believe that journaling can be sort of those understandings of, okay, what did I eat and what did I do? Did I wash my fruit well enough? Did I pick? Is that bug from Mexico still lingering in my
Which
belly?
it could.
It can.
Yeah,
It can.
we can see that in live blood as well too. So
yeah, and that's why it's sort of that correlation of understanding these things, and it can or cannot involve stomach cramps. You may have no note that you have it, that nausea, or sometimes you can have that feeling, that overwhelm, that sweat that happens. You're like, oh, I'm not even sure I'm going to make it to the toilet. So, and this can be actually an issue for many people when they don't digest their fats well, or they don't have a gallbladder anymore. So it's that being always careful to know where the bathroom's in. And this is a devastating issue for many people when they have this sort of loose stool chronic issue, is that they don't go out, they don't go visit people because of this embarrassing sort of
it's very life altering. Yeah.
It's very life altering for some people.
Yeah, it I mean, and it can be any kind of underlying issues that you don't even think about. Like you were saying, dairy and eggs can be hidden very much into all kinds of foods. And then, of course, gluten, again, is another one that can be hidden in a lot of the foods that we don't understand. And this is, again, why when you're having issues like this, before you go see your nutritionist or you go see a medical doctor, to really take a close look at exactly what's going on in your body, but also in your mind too. Because remember, and we've talked about this lots, that mind gut connection is very potent, and your mood, your perhaps anxiety or nerves or whatever you want to call it, can actually make a big difference with the amount of motility that's going through your guts as well too. I remember having clients that, she was a very, very nervous person, a lady that lived at home when I was doing home care, and she would get so nervous that it would be that detrimental. Oh, I got to run to the bathroom, and I got to run to the bathroom, because of it wasn't a physical thing that was going on with her. It was definitely a mental distress that she was having at all times. But as far as physical things going on, oh, there my.
You okay? I never know if it's me or her
Computer
that gets frozen.
Yeah, I'm frozen here. My
That's
goodness.
what I just said. I'm like, I never know. Is it you or
Yeah,
me?
I think it's me this time. Oh, because my computer's not even working.
So it's when you have sort of medical conditions like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or celiac or ulcerative colitis, this can be, of course, this obvious sort of loose stool association. Bile issues, bile malabsorption, things like that can be part of it, and dumping syndrome. So I've never really heard of dumping syndrome, other than what you're saying, that sort of nervousness to things. But also, it's a really good indicator if you are doing magnesium or taking magnesium. If you have this continuous loose stool, whoa, back up on the magnesium.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way to do that. And if you actually even have too much citric products as well, that can cause a loose stool, like too much vitamin C, maybe too many oranges. You think they're good for you, but never know. Maybe even too much coffee can cause a loose stool as well.
And even alcohol. Sometimes alcohol can do that as well too.
Yeah, I'm saying, foods and drinks can be part of that loose stool, and alcohol can be a big contributor to that. Never mix pickled eggs with alcohol when you're drinking heavy.
That doesn't sound like a good combination, although you always find pickled eggs in a bar. That's really odd.
It's so true, so true. The food poisoning, if you're getting a loose stool out of, and that's why it's good to sort of just like journal when you're thinking about things. You get this really loose stool crazy happening, and that can be your body's automatic response to get something out that doesn't belong, right? So food poisoning, viruses, bacteria, even parasites can be part of this nausea, fever, stomach cramps, and vomiting as well as this like loose, explosive stools. So it's sort of like when this happens, you need to sort of sit back and go, okay, was it food? Did I catch something? Or am I developing? And if it's chronic, happens over and over and over again, then that's when you, of course, seek professional help. And then you say, okay, listen, this is what's been going on. But having it all written down is going to help you and your practitioners, or in the Emerge or in the walk-in clinic, not think that you're crazy, but this is journaled and you've mapped it out, and this has been going on for quite a while. And such. And you have to be careful if you're having these issues and you're taking some certain different medications and you're having this. Please don't bother your doctor. Go call the pharmacist where you pick up these medications, and make sure that they're not having affecting or these contradictions with your current medications, right? So antibiotics can certainly cause loose stool as well. And this is when, you want to discuss it with your pharmacist, and then be able to go back to the doctor and say, hey, listen, this isn't the right prescription. And the pharmacist can also advise you of how or what questions to talk to your doctor about as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, I was just
Go ahead.
thinking, like, I mean, even when you try to look at, beyond talking to the pharmacist and, journaling and stuff like that, be aware before you just go over and pick up a bottle of, uh, what is it that calpectate or whatever the stool hardener is, because you don't want to start messing with the gut and in itself. You have to really figure out what the reason is. Imodium, that's the one I was thinking of. Um, if it's getting to chronic situations and you've kind of ruled out everything else, picking up Imodium just to give yourself a bit of relief, but making sure that you follow up with your physician or your practitioner, because you don't want to be continually taking Imodium. This is another one of those things that you don't want to have all the time. It's for specific, like what we call when necessary or PRN kind of situations, and not just something that you take on a regular basis. If you find that you're taking Imodium on a daily basis, this is a serious situation, and you don't want to play around with that. You have to get yourself into a clinician of some point, at some point during this time, because it can be quite life-threatening, especially depending upon which age group you happen to be in, where you are in your life, how well your health is normally, and everything else. So again, something like taking medications or antibiotics, you could have other issues going on, like pancreatitis, that is, again, requiring hospital treatment, that you have to really be quite aware of, and just not like, oh, it's just whatever, and blowing it off, because it is important that it can be, like I said, quite detrimental. And knowing that, and when you're journaling too, just like, oh, I've had diarrhea for 6 days in a row or whatever. Well, no, you really want to see what other kind of symptoms are going around with that too, because this is going to help your clinician. Is there fatigue? Is there fever? Is there nausea, abdominal pain, dizziness, abnormal heartbeat? These are all different indicators as well too, that is going to be able to help the clinician figure out what is going on with the abdomen and the body as a whole as well too. And it's the whole picture again, and I know Dana and I, we really stress that very much. It's the holistic look at everything when it comes to this, because it could be something serious as celiac disease. It could be something as serious as hyperthyroidism. It could be chronic pancreatitis, and you don't want to play around with that pancreas, because it's one of the good guys. You want to keep happy on your side, and when pancreas becomes inflamed, it can really, really cause a lot of issues downstream. And you want to rule out things like cancers as far as the pancreas goes too, because pancreatic cancer is not that any cancer is good, but pancreatic cancer is not one of the pretty ones. And these are things that you want to catch beforehand. And if your clinician doesn't catch it on the first round, go to the next one. In Ontario, Ontario and Canada, with our healthcare system, we tend to go to the one person and we say, okay, well, that person said no, so they know what they're talking about, and and we trust them with everything. Well, no, I read a thing this morning on the Facebook page that I was just like, I was so appalled by every comment, every couple of words in it. I was just like, no, this is not right. What is wrong? Like, I couldn't agree with this post at all. I didn't mention anything to the person yet, but I still might go back and and like say things. But it was talking about a person that had these, what do they call them? Invisible illnesses, where people look fine, but they are showing, they're struggling on so many levels, and these autoimmune issues that are just going, the doctor's like, no, you're fine, go home. We see a lot of those people in our clinics because they've got no other choices. And that's what I'm saying, like, go to a lot of different people to see what the issues are. Just don't take one one version of an answer. If it doesn't feel right to you, then go to the next person, go to another doctor. I know sometimes we can't with, especially here in Northern Ontario, we're at a loss for many, many doctors, but there's other ways to look at things. Go see a functional nutritionist, go see naturopathic doctor, go see somebody else, get the tests like thermography, get tests like live blood analysis, get as many tests and whatever that you can within your scope to figure out what's going on. You don't want to end up having a diagnosis later on of pancreatic cancer because they weren't able to catch the fact that you were having loose stools and a little bit of abdominal pain and nausea, and catch it at that point before it got into the full-blown cancer and a diagnosis at that point. And I think I kind of went off the whole chart here of things, but I mean, it's serious stuff. I mean, we joke a little bit about the whole BM and stuff like that, but it's a serious situation. It's something that is, even something like medications. I mean, diabetics all over the world, North America anyways, are provided with a medication called metformin. And metformin is one of those drugs that will cause loose stools. And if you're not hydrating yourself and you're not, preparing yourself for the fact that this is a side effect, you're going to get in trouble from that end of things, as well as the blood sugar levels. And, it's like a snowball that just keeps gathering more snow and as it's rolling down the hill. And it can be, it can be bad. And this is kind of what we're just kind of looking at, trying to express and get people just to thinking a little bit for themselves about what's going on with their bodies, seeing the signs and symptoms, understanding the indicators that your body is providing to you, and to take them seriously and not just go, I'll take some Imodium and get over it. It's kind of serious. And that's why nutritionists, we talk poop all the time, because, and nurses or whatever, because we know these are big indicators.
Absolutely.
I'm done. So, what is it that we need to do with regards to this? Like I said, other than going to your practitioner, getting to the bottom of it. If you end up getting sent home with, it's nothing, what are you supposed to do? Well, you want to look at your diet specifically and really start to make some big changes. Add more whole foods, add more fiber. You can look towards psyllium fiber as well too. This will help give you that soluble fiber that you need to bulk up your stool and hopefully alleviate some of the slow down the transit time and the looseness of your stool. Make sure that you're drinking, and not only just water, but electrolytes. So coconut water is one of the best that you can take in for a natural product for electrolytes. Coconut water has got that little bit of sweetness. It's got that little bit of the natural salts that we need. And it's really, really good for just replenishing the body's electrolytes, because you will be losing your salts. You'll be losing your minerals. You'll be losing a lot of things if you happen to be having chronic diarrhea all the time. Another thing is you want to get your kidneys checked, and, understanding that, you're going to be losing, like, as if there's a diuretic effect going on in the body, you want to make sure that the diuretic effect, you're going through your kidneys as well as your bowels. And, you want to just make sure everything is up and up with everything. I just don't like taking chances with stuff like this. If it's medication, well, we know it's medication. If it's more like a Crohn's or colitis situation, there's going to be other indicators, and you're going to want to deal with that. Especially if we're looking at children. I mean, we all kind of know the whole scenario behind children with diarrhea. They can lose body weight very quickly. just from the fluids. And then you can go into a shift in that electrolyte system where they end up having seizures and whatnot. It's life-threatening. It's serious
Mhm.
stuff. As life-threatening as a constipation can be. Okay, I'll stop talking.
No, I think if you have issues, and these are serious issues with diarrhea, and you want to journal about it, certainly that's going to give you insight. Certainly talking with someone and going through different symptomologies or different symptoms, maybe that can help, help bring things through. Understanding or using tools like thermography, or using tools like live blood, and discussing these different things is certainly very helpful to help sort of shorten the questions down. And then you'd be able, that's why talking this out through people, with people, can actually help you sort of discern a little better about what the cause may be, slow down the panic in yourself, and or just realize, yeah, okay, you got a bug, brother. Let's take care of that.
Yep.
And then be able to go to your doctors with a little more intelligence and not walking in fear. And I think that is that sort of because that's all the doctors have time for, is to answer the one question or the two questions, not be your okay, could it be this, or could it be that, or could it be this? No, they're just not allowed. And it's just part of the makeup of the healthcare system. There's nothing wrong with that. They're there for a specific reason, for blood work, for testing, for resolve. And then you're responsible for creating your own healthcare team and making sure that you have someone to discuss the crazy questions with, someone to follow and monitor, true testing and evaluation, and someone to marry those two things together. So that's where the functionality of things, or the functional medicine concept, has come from, because the medical doctors unfortunately just don't have time. And so this working with someone from more of someone who will understand the crazy questions and then ask crazy questions back, and or someone to help you walk through your day-to-day. And that's where we come into play. And that's why it's so important. And that's why we talk about bowel movements and loose stool and constipation, to give you this insight, to give you this hope in understanding what your body's saying to you. And then you can understand what you need to do to take control of things and not always walk in fear. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, you just summed that up. I loved it. That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, I mean, that essentially is what we do. We are the ears, and, we have the education behind us to be able to, again, ask you the crazy questions, but answer your crazy, what you think or might be crazy questions as well, too.
Right.
Because the medical system doesn't have the time. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, every time I go to make an appointment with my medical doctor, they say, what is your concern? So you tell them, or a variation of it, and they're like, no, you have to have another appointment for that.
Yeah,
You
there's
can't
only
do more than
one
one at a
concern,
time.
one appointment.
Yeah, and
one
that's
concern, one
all.
appointment, 7 minutes. That is unfortunately the allotted time that they're allowed to work with.
Yeah.
And so you can't go in, and that's where you need to find that person who's going to come alongside you and be part of this movement to break through the fear and give you knowledge and understanding in taking that power for yourself, just with a simple notepad and paper, being diligent for yourself and advocating for yourself, but then also having someone to advocate for you so that you understand the questions, or to direct you to the person that was going to be the best match for this health issue at this time.
Yeah.
Because I certainly don't know it. I know this much compared to the full spectrum. And so it's like, I can't do this and I can't do that, but I know someone who can. And that's why it's important to find that functional person, or that health. I kind of call myself like a health concierge, in that I'm going to listen, put it into alignment, map out what the needs are, and then be able to direct you to the perfect person that is going to resolve. But again, it's always that fourfold aspect of your journey that you always need to keep in balance. So
Yeah. And it's so important, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, my health is worth it. My health is so important and so imperative that I will take the time to do that for myself. I take the time to spend extra money on really good supplements. I take the time to make really good choices for food in my body. I take the time to prepare food for my body. This is important. I take the time to sit down and eat a bowl of, just plain blackberries. Because, well, not everybody has, it's not a privilege, but not everybody has been privy to the detriments of lifestyle diseases. If we've seen our elders go through it, we've seen a little bit of it, but not everybody has that stomach or that wherewithal to be able to sit with somebody as they're dying. Not everybody has that whatever it takes to be a caregiver to somebody that's chronically ill for a long period of time. And that's okay. That's just the way the world works. But when you've seen it, when you've actually been there and been at the bedside and dressed wounds and, comforted people and given, yet another injection of pain medicine because they just can't handle it anymore. And all these different things, because of chronic lifestyle diseases. And I'm like, when I say that, it's cancer, it's diabetes, it's heart disease. These are the chronic lifestyle diseases that are in epidemic form right now, that are killing more people than COVID people. And this is what we should be talking about. This is where, from my perspective, we should be more worried about the fruits and vegetables that we're putting in our bodies than wearing a mask in public. We should be worried more about the foods that we put in our bodies, the shopping, our immune systems, than we should about having a buggy full of Diet Coke because it's on sale this week. The focus is just so shifted in the wrong direction right now that it blows my mind. And I don't watch the news because of it. I don't dive into it so much anymore because I think it was a post one time last year, about this time last year, that I posted about, so masks are mandatory now. Why isn't eating fruits and vegetables mandatory? And I just got an onslaught of just like hate, like nobody's business. And I'm not about hate. I'm about positivity, and I'm about love and kindness and all these things. And it really devastated me to the point where I just don't say anything too much anymore. But now I'm just all about, when it comes out of my mouth, it comes out of my mouth, just like right now. I didn't plan this, but the thing is, it's important. Cancer is killing more people than COVID. Heart disease is killing more people than COVID. Diabetes is chronic, and medicine keeps people alive for a long time, but it's the quality of life that these people are having at the end stages of these diseases that is horrific. And I don't want you guys to go there, because we can make the changes that we need to right now. We can add more fruits and vegetables into our diet right now. We can get out and get some fresh air and feel the sun on our faces right now. We have the opportunity to have quality supplements in our lives, because even though if we do eat proper, we don't have the nutrients in our foods like we used to, because there's no nutrients in our soil anymore. So there's supplements out there like Juice Plus, and this is why I promote Juice Plus so much. This is why I promote the Tower Garden so much, because you're getting nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables right there out of your living room. Nobody's touched them. If you're still worried about COVID, nobody's touched them but you and your bubble. And the need that we have to have this stuff in our bodies is going to make that difference between the disease expression down the line. And it's so much easier to prevent than it is to cure. That's it.
There we go.
Soapbox. I'm done.
So tomorrow I won't be online because I have setting up for my clinic in Ottawa here tomorrow as well. And so I'm not sure what you're going to chat.
I am just going to sort of conclude the week with options that we've already talked about quite a bit. um, food options, supplement options,
Mhm, mhm.
over the counter kind of situations that we can do to help alleviate constipation and
Constipation or
diarrhea, just
diarrhea.
from a very nutritionist standpoint. And then, of course, we talked about getting to doctors for chronic situations to figure out what is going on. But before we go, happy Earth Day, everybody. I don't know if I said it in the
Mhm.
beginning or not. Yay. Happy Earth Day. I love Earth Day. I don't know. It's cold out. It's cold, really cold out today, but it's Earth Day. So go out and watch a documentary. Go watch The Blue Planet by David Attenborough. Go watch Seaspiracy. You'll never want to eat fish again. Um,
Or just go for a walk, listen to the birds,
go for a walk.
look at the spring flowers. Don't get yourself caught in the heavy conspiracy of things to cause yourself more undue stress, which will raise your heartbeat, raise inflammation, cause cardiovascular issues.
I'll make you
You can
cry.
go outside and take a deep breath and go for a walk, go for a bike ride, and just enjoy the abundance of life that are around you in the earth. Be a good steward and go plant a tree. Go plant some flowers.
Yep. Yep.
Don't watch
Nice.
TV.
Don't watch TV.
Do not watch TV.
Oh, it's all good. It was good. I like that
Excellent.
stuff.
Beautiful.
Well, I
Well, have
mean,
a
it
good
opens
day, you
your
guys.
brain. Huh?
I have a great day.
Yes. Okay. I'll stop talking. Have a great day, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.